Hello and welcome back to Tron Sports Fever 2, the UK modded series. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video. I just had to wait for all of those trains to pass because they were quite loud. But thank you very much for joining me in today's video. We were currently looking at one of the approaches over to the marshalling yard, or the bridge that goes in to the marshalling yard. This bridge goes over towards Lichfield, and also the main line that is underneath it. Now, in the last video, I said that would probably be the final video. Actually, I said that would be the final video that we did before I do a showcase and some trains, some screenshots and videos without the timetable mod, so that things are running smoothly at 60 FPS as opposed to whatever FPS this is, 20 FPS or whatever it is. There goes another train. I can hear another one. Here comes another one. This would have been an ideal spot to have no timetables on and have everything running really smoothly. But anyway, as I said that the last video would be that. And off camera, I have gone and done a whole bunch of things. But I have realised that I have forgotten something very, very important. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you some of the changes that I have made, some of the updates that I have done. And also, we are going to put in, well, there are two things that are going to happen in this video. Number one, airports. I have no airfield, so I have started putting these in, and I will put a few more in this video, but airfields. And number two, we are going to be upgrading some of the trains ready for that showcase video of 1938, which is where I suppose it will be. So make sure you stay tuned. Let's get started. And before the intro, I would like you to tell me what you would like to see in terms of which location would you like train spots from in the next video, as well as whether you would like to see some ride-alongs, and if so, which particular lines would you like to see the ride-alongs on. So please do let me know, and without further ado, let's wait for this train to go past and start the video properly. Okay, so some of the changes, or most of the changes, have been done that I need to do. In fact, let me change this date to May the... What dates will this be coming out on? The 3rd of May? Possibly? Sorry, 3rd of June? Possibly 3rd of June, so I'll go ahead and do that. So now, what are the changes that I have gone ahead and made? Well, you'll see. I have all of the telegraph poles in, pretty much everywhere that they need to be. So here, we've even got them out here on the branch line. If we go up north of Early, we have them going all the way out here. We have them going out there. Continuing all the way up to the bridge, shrinking down for the bridge, all the way down the bridge, through Macclesfield. It's all the way. We have them on that route. I have them through West Bromwich as well. So there you go. You see that? I've done some of these before, and I've probably shown you some of these before. There are more there. Up and down in both directions on this line. So, for example, there you go. This bit is still... I'm not keen about what I've done here. These appear to be far too low. So I might try and possibly put some extra in before the next video, just in between, to shrink those down. So I've done that. What else? So we have them all the way down here now, as you can see. Got them going in that direction. I've moved these, which is an issue I had encountered. The reason that these looked so odd a few episodes ago was because I had expanded this track, and in doing so pushed the embankment back. That is what caused that problem. So yes, goes through here, all through here, goes out in that direction. On top of that, we've got, do I have them over here? I think I do. There you go. Bunch going up to the bridge. Now, where do I not have them? Well, they stop here. I do not have them across the bridge and on this side. So this is the bit that I possibly am going to have to do before the next video. Just this section, because this is the only section that does not have them, and up towards Alford. So just up that way. That bit does not have them. Everywhere else, they have been done. So there we go. Out of Berwick, we're again with the stuttering. This bit does not have them there, but they stop here. So I'm probably, it's just because I need to rework a little bit of this. So I've got it stopping there, but it continues down on this side where it looks pretty good, as it goes through here, all the way down, and just basically everywhere. Every part of the main line has these, apart from that section north of Berwick. So even over to Ollerton, there you go. See them there. Past Ollerton, this direction. There's some there. All the way down to Maryport. Maryport has an interesting one. It actually goes between the tracks at one point, right here. I think that looks quite nice, so I've added that in. Continues all the way through all of this, over Shepshed, through the lot. As you can see, does swap sides every now and then, just to give it a bit of variety. Oh, this is working quite well. Excellent. That's worked as intended. All the way up to Sudbury, and then from Sudbury going out as well, the entire way. In fact, there is another section that may not have them. This section here. Yes, I think I may not have done this section either. So two sections that still need a bit of this sorted out. May do it up to Chagford, may not. The other side of this I think is done, right? No, I have not done this bridge either. So, okay, that area around Stratford is not complete. Must have forgotten to do that. But it should be fine out of here, which it is. There you go. So it continues out of there. So those bits need working, or working on. What I've also gone ahead and done is started adding a few more roads in a few more places. So not everywhere, just a couple of places have a few new roads. I think I did a little bit in Downham Market, or I've just cleaned up a little bit in Downham Market. New Romney, I am trying to figure out what I need to do with this. I'm not sure if this bit was new or I'd already shown this in the last video, but I'm trying to figure out what to do with New Romney. Lichfield still has a way to go. West Mersey, as you can see, has a whole bunch of new bits, including houses that I decided to put in, which do look the part. And this is already building up, so that is good. But as I said, the main part of today's video is to put airfields in. Now, I've started putting airports or airfields in a few locations. There you go, there is one. And so, it is 1938. If you know your history, Britain had a bit of a tumultuous time from 1939 onwards. So, and we had a lot of airfields that we needed to use. So that is why I need to put them in this video, because otherwise things are not going to look right. So, anywhere that I'm going to put an airfield in, I'm going to start connecting roads. So, for example, I think these roads need to be connected too. So, and it is going to take just a little bit of time, but I'm going to try to get this done as quickly as possible in order for us to be able to make this. This is Downham Market, this is. I think I'm going to have to figure out what to do with these roads, because we've got... So I'm going to build that road and that road, so I think I think I'm going to take this entire field down. So this is what I'm going to be doing here. I want the road to be from this, so we'll take this section out, be up to there, break that, bring that farmland down, and then, of course, because of the design here and how I've done this originally, what I'm going to have to do is potentially break all of this. We'll just break down one side. It will probably be easier to break one side of it as opposed to both. We'll just push this back all the way. There we go. And I think probably do this road as well. So for this road, I will push back. Let's see. Let's push this one back. So we'll go ahead and do that. And I'll actually adjust this bend to be more precise with how I want this road to go. There, that is better. And now I'm just going to go ahead and place the road in. So we'll do this a few times, and thereafter I will look to upgrade the trains, and the rest of this can happen off camera. So this bit here, where apparently it's upgraded the road, I'm going to go... Let's upgrade that to that. Yes, that looks decent. 40 miles per hour, 40 or 60. That's tarmac. I do like. I don't know whether that one is better or this one. What does this one look like? Let's have a comparison of the two. I think the lighter grey is probably nicer. Right. And now we just go ahead and build the junction. So we'll start off with junction. Okay, well that was weird. Start off with this junction. And we'll just start curving the road. No, not like that. Yeah, we'll just start curving the road into the right locations. Spend a little bit of time just neatly trying to give it enough room so that it looks realistic enough, so it has a bit of a verge. That's the one thing that I've made mistakes on in the past, is not putting a proper verge in. Just leaving it pushed up right up against the hedgerows. That being said, some roads in the UK are pushed up right up against the hedgerows, so there is absolutely no verge. But not this time. Going to make sure there is a bit of a gap. And it looks like I'll be able to... Why does that have that noise, that sound? That does not seem right. Now for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this as a turn like that. because of how this connection is. This is going to be potentially a staggered... I think this is going to be a bit of a staggered junction. That's okay. I could make that a straight line. No. A straight line does not work the way I want it to. Let's try and do this properly. Okay, that is a little annoying, and apparently it's going to Southampton. I do not have a Southampton in here. So I'm not going to do this all on camera. Just going to do a bit of this on camera, and I'm going to place one other airfield in. There we go. Good. So that is now complete. Then what I need to do is go ahead and smooth this area out. That's not right. Terrain tools, make it much smaller. Much smaller, I say. There we go. Smooth this area out a little. That is a little better. There we are. Make that a bit smaller. There we go. That is a little bit better. So the aircraft should be able to go right over the top. And then we have this lavender field right here, which looks lovely. And all I now need to do is put the hedgerow back in. Well, actually, there's a little bit more I need to do, but well, that's not how you spell hedge now, is it? Oh, I've also got this. So I've done this, which I'm not sure how these will work out. But this is perhaps a little better because then we can put gates in and stuff like that. I'm not going to... I have no idea what some of these mean. So that's an individual bush. That's a row. And that's just a section. And then obviously we have this one as well. So I need to figure out... Okay, this might actually be really good. Because they look very similar. If I do that, how do these destroy? They destroy in sections. Okay, that is actually really useful. Variable offset. No. This is actually really useful. I'm going to try this. So we're just going to do a curved bit, then I'll do a straight bit with a gate, and then we'll see if we can go from there. So we'll go, let's do a straight section here. Curved. Then I'll be able to destroy these in a much better manner. As long as these are not being marked as roads, which I do not believe they are. Straight plus the gate. And back to straight. That is just those little extra bits of detail It's very important. There, and straight plus a gate there. Back to curved. So we're probably not going to be spending too much time at the airport, simply because I can already hear them, and it's just a bit... It's a little bit annoying. There we go. Completes with gate. Would you look at that? And now if I were to destroy these, they destroy in chunks. That is quite useful. That is really quite useful. Okay, so we've got that bit in. What I'm now going to do is, I guess, I need to put a road here. Like so. Not sure how exactly this will... Yeah, there's that bit there. So I need to really figure this out. There we go. I'll push this forward. That up like that. Maybe I can put a bus terminal or something there. And then just go... Oops, come on. There we are. Not sure how it has gates one... Why is this being so awkward? Not sure how it has a gate 148, but, you know, it is what it is, I suppose. Right. So, here, what I can do is I will... See, there could be a rail link to this at some point in the future. But I think we can have a bus stop going straight into Down and Market. So I'll go ahead and make a... Let's just make a small bus station. I could do one of these. In fact, I think one of these would be even better. So I'll say for bus. Yep. It can be fairly short platforms, like so. I'll loop it around. Island platform. Okay. Potentially destroy that. Put this in. Why does it not like that? What is wrong? Build anyway. Okay, well, it's fine. I know what I'm going to do. There we go. Now it's just a little bit happier. About there. As close as I can get it. Or not. Come on. There we go. I suppose here I can just do street. Very tight turnaround, but no, you know what? Can I get a very narrow street in this? Small. How tiny is this? That is not narrow at all. Just want a simple single one-way street. That is it. That is what I'm after. Not that. Not that. No, none of those. Just a basic... Kind of hoping... Kind of looking for that. But... Maybe I can make this work. I can make this work. Come on. Okay. how is that looping in? No. Loop into... Can I loop it to that? Do that and then turn that around. It is not the prettiest, but I'm sure I can manage with that. And what I'm going to do is make some adjustments here. The type of hedge that we have. Like so. Gates 148 does not exist. That is why none of the passengers are boarding. In fact, no gates exist in that. How lovely does that look? That looks great. I could even put some trees here. But yes, so this is this is what needs to be done. I need to put these airfields in. Let me finish. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try and finish off one of these. Sometimes you'll have trees around here, and we'll put some trees there and stuff like that. So let me at least get one of these finished off. I do like this new one. Oh no, that's not what I meant to do. Does it snap to this? No, it does not snap to assets. That's fine. And put a gate here again, just opposite. Yes, you've been saying final call for a while. I'd like to inform you that if you say final call more than once, then it is not your final call. The one before was your penultimate call. And it does then defeat the purpose of final call. Yeah, let's do this, because now this will be a lot easier to break and build, in my opinion. See, I can just run this perhaps out to there. Let's do a straight bit here, and then behind here, up to there. Break that as one. Pick that and run that up to there. That looks pretty good to me. So one thing I will say, will point out, is of course, when you do these as assets, you no longer can snap asset to asset, as we have established, but you can snap asset to other things. So in a sense, that does still work if you are careful. Okay, so now we have an airport there. One more of these. This one's actually really low down. So I'm going to pick it from here and go straight across. There we go. Looking good. Let's put some trees in. Do like a good set of oak trees. Skip collision, yes. Let's place a few down here. Just around this area here. Leaving, of course, the approach clear. We'll place some of these like so. Mix it in with a few of these. And I might even put a few pines in just to make it look a little bit more realistic. So we'll go pine, go, there's a few pines there, and a smattering of pines there. Oh, that looks great. Maybe a fence? Could put a fence up all the way around, just up to there. Yes, I have a new type of fence tool as well. Why did none of these exist when I needed them? That is not the fence I want. A basic fence around here. Nothing too serious, right? Let's have the fence go up to... Let's have it go up to there. And we'll just have it go along here. That genuinely looks really good. I am quite impressed with how this is all coming together. There we are. And yes, this can be grass. I've done that. That is fine. Assets. Do I have any aircraft that I can place down? You? You? No, not one of you. A really old aircraft. Oh, it has a... That is a bad idea because that looks like a German registration. Wrong. DC3. It's an American registration, but still. Nonetheless, have a DC3 parked up. I don't know. I'll just put a DC3 right here. Unfortunately, this airfield is not what I wanted. Were much smaller aircraft, but that's fine. This DC3 has a prop spinning, which is not ideal. Let's try and do that. Right, that's no good. Try again. Let's lift it up like so. Problem with the DC3 is that it needs to be on its tail. I do not know how to rotate it to be on its tail. Can I use this to make any weird rotation? Constructions. Yeah, not you. You. Not you. Wait, are you... Is that what I think that might be what I've got. Can I rotate? Rotate. That's reset. No. Oh wait, rotation. But that is rotation in that direction. I do not want rotation in that direction, no. I want the rotation to be... Oh. Okay. Oh, potentially I might have to leave these. That's fine. Not a problem. We can just do that, and I guess I can place a few more oak trees in here. Come on, spell oak. There we are. Like so. Touch in the middle. You know, quieten it all down. Windsock is there. It's fine. So aircraft should be landing in this direction. You're going to Ontario? Okay. How do you get to Ontario? How do you get to Ontario from here? That would be quite a... Yeah, no. Say what I do want to find is, do I have them? No. Airport. I know what I'm looking for something here. Runway. No. Light. Not traffic lights. Ooh, Royal Mail. No. Ooh, jail. That's probably a good idea. And the sorting office is probably something I need to start looking into as well. Yes, I need to start putting these things in, but there we go. Okay, that does not look terrible. If we were to look at that as a screenshot, as a thumbnail for the video, that is not bad. That is not bad at all. In fact, so that's better than not bad. I would say that's pretty good. So I'm going to take that. That probably can be the thumbnail for the video because the airport has taken the majority of the time. Now, that is one. I have multiple airports, as you can see. But good thing is this one, the road will be right there, so that should not be an issue. There's another airport here. So that's one. I'm just going to bring the road straight in there. There are more airfields. I have put in more. A couple more somewhere. There's another one. This one is just a grass airfield, and the road is right here. So this is not a problem. That is what I need. Passenger terminals. Right. I knew I'd messed something up. So that one, the road will just fit in quite easily. I'm just looking for additional places to put airports, but we cannot have too many. This looks like a good spot for an airport. Any airports in the area? No. In fact, this right here. So, grass airstrip. How does that look? Do that and get the road in directly from here. I think that could work really well. I think that could work really, really well. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to say, oh, this is a much bigger setup. What is this one? Passenger airfield. No, we're just going to do another. I know where I'm going to do that one. Do a grass airfield. I'll just pop that in there. I think that will look good, and if the prevailing wind is in this direction, those takeoffs should be all right. Might need to push this forest back just a touch. That should be all right. So that is another location for an airport. Like one somewhere around here, but I cannot see any viable location for an airfield here. Could have one up in the hills, something like Compton Abbas. That is up right at the top of a hill. Fantastic airport. So I could do that and just build it right up here, but I do not want to do that. And also, I have to take into account that this is a much smaller map than... It isn't the size of the UK. It is a much smaller map. Therefore, I need to think about scaling things down a little. How does this look? Far from ideal. Very, very hilly. Of course it is. It's near New Romney. It would be nice to be able to fit an airfield in here somewhere, but I'm not sure where I'm going to be able to do that. This is an area where the angles are not great. Here is possible. However, I have a better idea for that one. So, though I could put, I'll show you, I can put an airport here. Oh, maybe I should put an airport here, right near this village. This is the village of Crawley, and this is Gatwick Airport, RAF Gatwick. This is not a bad idea. So my initial plan was I was going to put an airport here. But now that I look at this might be the better option. And as the town grows out in this direction, it will start absorbing this or getting very close to it, because I expect this town to be out here. And that would be quite realistic. Plus, we could work out some freight being picked up from here and going up here, joining on to this embankment and going off to the marshalling yard. So potentially I could make it much closer and have it here. Why not there? That looks like a good spot. That looks like a really good spot. And for this, we're going to do a proper airfield. It says passenger airfield. I'll have more than just passengers here. Or should I do it here? This is probably a little bit better. Okay. So we are going to build it. I will try to look in from approaches over the hills. I think it should still be okay. So if I get rid of this, get rid of that and put it in right here, I think we should be all right. And I'll break other bits as I need to. And I do not want it to be having to dip in. So I'd rather it be up like that. There we go. Then destroy this. Okay. And so aircraft will come in through here. Sure, over this hill, but that is not too bad. I mean, this is not a realistic size runway anyway. Now, we're going to look at the size of this runway. I'll show you that this is a 450-yard runway at most. That is, I will tell you, that is not going to be, it isn't terrible. It is not terrible because that is 1,000 feet. But to give you an idea of the length of Heathrow's runway, I wonder if I'll even be able to do it. Right. That is roughly the length of one of the runways at Heathrow. Yes, that is approximately the length of one of the runways. Just one. Obviously, there are two. There will be a third soon at Heathrow. So, a big difference, certainly in how that all works. Now, what does this mean? What I'm going to do is I'll probably end up redoing this one off camera properly. In fact, no, you know what? Let's do it. Let's just do this one. Now that we have an idea of how we want to do things, it should be much easier to make it work. So we'll do this to start with. Break that. So break this area first, so that we have an idea of what we are going to be playing with. Then we are going to smooth out the terrain around the area. There we go. I still find it a little bit strange that when you do this and try and smooth it out, it doesn't quite manage to smooth out properly. So you have to sometimes lift it up a little. See, like this corner, it isn't doing it. So what you do is you just do that, and then do that, and it still isn't doing it. Do that, then do that. See, it just does not, for some reason, cannot do parts of it. Oh, he's going out to Southampton again. I'm not going to do a general aviation gates like that. We've got that. I'm actually going to, let's just build this up and say this is the first, I'll say proper airports. I don't know. What's the difference between GA cargo and well, that's a hangar. I've no idea. I'm going to put that in anyway. That's not the greatest. Certainly is not the greatest at all, but there we go. Okay. So then what I can do is build a road, and we'll work it out from there. So we'll start off with one of these. Perfectly straight road. We will build from here all the way along, like so, and then just curve that in like that. Okay, good. So that is a good start. And then also, because I've got a road on this side, I'm going to let it continue, and we'll do something. I'm going to do something along these lines. So we'll go out to, in fact, no, we will run pretty much alongside this, and break this part and try to get this to build in. No, not quite there. That is not what I want either. Nor is that. Nor is that. We'll get there. We'll certainly get there. There we go. That is what I want. That is not what I want. That and then that. There we go. Okay, good. A little bit better. Excellent. Then we'll go ahead and make the... I could probably build so much around here, so much detail around this area. So I could end up building the railway here, just have it go there and just join on straight to that. So we also have the opportunity to have additional roads in this area. So we'll do that, and for now, once we'll just put another passenger. Not that. I'll do one of these with 2 bus terminals square. You know what? Let's just do that. Let's do that and see how we can make it look fairly fancy, or I don't know. So we could have one that, if I were to connect it properly, see, I could do one from here that could just go straight to Early, and one that goes to West Mersey. I have to see. I have to see how that pans out. Do not like how this looks. So I'm going to do this instead. And then connects it up. That road does not look great either, but it's fine. Almost, there we go. That will do. Good. Not too shabby. I will put in, not that. One of these. Not right up against it. We're going to give it a little bit more room. There we go. We'll say, well, that's his airport perimeter. Yeah, it looks like a reasonable amount. Right, airport perimeter, it has been set. I think the other airport looks a little bit better. That's fine. It's not a problem. And we are going to end this episode with, of course, with the bit that I said about doing the trains. That is going to be important. But I just want to, I suppose because I started this, I just want to make sure I end it properly. But this is no longer a farm, I guess, so is this really a bit necessary? Probably not. I suppose that is not necessary. None of this. Let's put some trees and fences and stuff in place instead. Yeah, that probably looks a little better. Right. So for this part, we'll go like this, and then I have a feeling that is going to get very annoying very, very, very quickly. So one of the things that I am probably going to do is look for a way to silence that. Let's do this. So the reason I'm doing this is I do want to try to give all the airports a somewhat, somewhat unique look. So obviously this airport has a different style. Let's do this. This airport has a different style to the other airports that I've done, and hopefully every airport will have some change in style. There we go. Looking a little better, so I'll put the trees out. Trying to put some trees along there, I think. That will do the trick. Okay. That's a bit of an airport. Right. Oak trees. There we are. Place them in. Mix with some brighter and lighter oak. Lovely. Maybe even a few just around here. There we go. Does not look too bad. Maybe a few trees just dotted around this area. There. Anything here? We put some oak trees here. Possibly that could look potentially all right. And none, of course, on the runway approach. Okay, that is an airfield, and just to make this look a little bit nicer, I'm going to change what this looks like. So we're going to put, let's have a look. Yeah, sure. Lavender fields. So that everybody who comes to the airport feels nice and relaxed. No matter how turbulent the landing, take Lavender Airways. So as soon as I've done this, I will go ahead and take a quick look at the trains, get those done, and then it is just a matter of me going around doing a few other airports in the same way. So that took, what, an hour, roughly an hour to do 2 of the airports. So it'll probably take me another hour or so to do, well, an hour and a half probably to do the other few airports. And that's, at that point, I'm probably going to say that those are going to be the airports that we use. I'm not going to try and I'm definitely not going to try to add more and more and more airports. Sometimes you just have to remember that keeping it a little bit more simple does help. I think that looks okay. I definitely think that looks okay. Look at that. Take a picture. Something along these lines as well. I still think the other airport has a better... The other airport is more what should we say? Photogenic. Yes, as if that is a term that can be applied to airports. But at least this one has a railway in the background that you can see. In fact, multiple railways. You can see that section there, then that one there. There's the main line as well going down and that way, which you sort of can see, but also cannot. Right, wait for the autosave to complete so that I can... there we go. So I can actually get on with doing the other bits. So that is the other one. And now, let us have a quick look at the trains. And this is where some problems are going to occur. So, what I want to do is... These are already Class A ones, yes. First thing I need to figure out is, can I name these? Because sometimes if you do something like this, it names the train. So it puts a nameplate on it somewhere. So this one it has not. Maybe it isn't that. Maybe it is that. And I'm trying to figure out which ones can and cannot have nameplates. Okay, well that is unfortunate because I want to have the Flying Scotsman running on one of these. So 4468, 4472, whatever the number is for it. These trains are going to remain. So these express trains coming from Attleborough, they will remain. However, the trains, the express services, no, that's a stopping service. Express service, there it is. these express services are going to change. So this one, these are being replaced by Class A4 trains. However, we have an issue. And the issue that we are having... Yay, fractal to... Wait a minute. Oh, yes, that is correct. Now, the issue we are having with these is the Pullman locomotives. So I could change these out, and it is not going to be an issue, because I can just go ahead and replace these. Look at the speed of that, 89 miles per hour. But if I go to manage vehicle, and we'll go to replace, I have this steam. So this one, for example, would replace with that. Maximum speed 112 miles per hour. Really should be 125, but that's fine. So 112 miles per hour. Okay. Ooh, those are the A3s. That's a little bit better. I might replace the A1s with A3s. Anyway, so we have that. Then we need to put some coaches in, so some passenger coaches. Now, if we have a look at the passenger coaches available to us, we have these top light coaches. They have a top speed of 80 miles per hour, which is not ideal. Plus, it's be a bit strange because these are LNER and that's GWR, but fine. We have these. They have a top speed of 75 miles per hour, so that's no good. We have these, which have a top speed of 89 miles per hour. So this is possibly the only variant that we can take. But if we look at this, 114 with 214 yards. If I were to, so I think all of these carry the same amount, right? We can try and look for the largest ones we can find. So maybe these. Potentially these are the only options we have. So we'd have to pick this and do that, possibly, and maybe that, something like that. So we could carry a fair amount, but only at 89 miles per hour, which means that these are no faster than these. Admittedly, good thing about this is that if you look at this, we have 1,600 horsepower. With this one, I cannot remember exactly what the torque is, what the torque figures are. And if we look at this, we have a lot more power. So that is good. So it will be faster accelerating. But it isn't going to be any faster overall. And I was hoping I could get up to 100 miles per hour. The only ones that do it are these. And I do not like the Pullman coaches because they seem to have issues with the Z-axis fighting. And so I'm at a bit of a loss. See, these can do 100, but again, they're Great Westerns. And these ones can only do 75. I've not found any that can do more than 75 miles per hour, which is really awkward because I would have probably preferred to put these ones in, especially these colours. This would have started looking the part. Some of these would really start looking the part. So yes, I'm stuck. I'm a little bit stuck as to what I can do. I think for now we'll probably use these and replace all the trains with that, or all of the express trains. Then I'll go around replacing all the other ones, all the various different trains with all different bits, so I can show you which trains I'm intending to replace. So if we just get rid of that, let's go for train lines. So Freight ones we'll have a look at. It's the passenger ones. We'll deal with the freight ones. So I'm thinking, potentially, we might be looking at about the age where we want to be replacing these. And for these, I will probably replace them with, so this is an 1876 tank engine. I can probably replace it with a brand new tank engine. So I think there are some nice little tank engines here. Here we go. 1935 tank engines. So I could probably replace it with that. Same sort of speed, but it's just a little bit more modern. Maybe just replace a few of those and leave the rest going. Same thing for this. Probably will do that as well. This is an 1885 tank engine, so might replace those with the same thing. Same issue here. We'll be replacing these to 1873. So all of these need to have a new locomotives placed on them. These ones, probably the same thing. There's a bit of a mix now here. So we've got a 1925 one, we've got some 1873 one. So maybe I'll replace the 1871. Probably replace that with one of the old locomotives from here. And do the same with this, maybe replace a few of these locomotives, might even replace a few of the carriages, not with the Pullman ones. And same thing needs to happen here. Look at this one. This is an these are 1891, so they're not terrible. Same with that. These express trains are going to remain. I might upgrade them to Class A3s, but they are going to remain effectively looking just like that. These ones are changing to Class A4s, so you'll see that in the next video. These ones are probably going to change. I might change these to, actually I haven't decided yet. These will probably be upgraded to newer versions, but will remain tank engines. These stopping services, so I need to look at potentially changing some of these stopping service ones as well, but I'm going to keep the compartments. I think the compartments can stay as they are. Those ones will not change. They're quite modern. These ones might change. They've been going for about, 40 years. So we'll probably end up changing these as well. So those are the ones that are going to look different. In the next video, I will be doing that off camera, letting the timetable settle in. And then in the next video, we are going to be doing some train spotting, some showcases of various different areas, and maybe even some ride-alongs. Again, let me know what you want to do with the ride-alongs. Which ride-alongs do you want to see? And I will go ahead and see if I can fit them in, maybe even a two-parter. We are going to be in 1938, and then also, one other thing, do let me know whether you want to see anything between 1939 and 1945 happen on this map. So, for example, I might end up, you'll see them in blue or the various different colours, and then you might see a bunch of trains possibly during, maybe if I do one in 1945, you might see a bunch of trains all in very dark colours. So that is something you might see as well. Let's find a good spot to end this video. I mean, I think this airfield went quite well. I think this airfield does look pretty good. As soon as I put in whatever the other airfields are, a few more, that should be all right. I think, could I fit an airfield in here? Oh, this is a good spot for an airfield. Here we go. This is where another airfield is going in. Yes, this side of Barnstable will have another airfield going in. Excellent. That is going to be... Let me put that in now. So I am aware it's going to be just a grass airstrip. Other way. Grass airstrip other way. Do we have grass airstrip other way? Grass airfield. No. Other way? Pointing the other way? No. No. There, no. There. That's way. Yeah, that's a good spot. That is definitely a pretty good spot right there. Maybe even push it a little bit out here. Okay, well, that is where I'm going to end this video. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to click on the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Transport Fever 2, the UK modded series. Leave a comment in the comments box below, letting me know what you think. Any suggestions you might have, especially the ones that I just said about what you wish to see when it comes to... when it comes to the ride-alongs and areas that you want to see trains from, so train spotting locations. Those would be really useful. If you wish to do so, you can check out my social media, Discord server and all of that, link in the description box below. And I believe that is that. So that is all from me, and I shall see you next time in Transport Fever 2, the UK modded series, where all the other airports will be completed, the trains will be upgraded, and all you will have to do is sit back and enjoy some train spotting, some ride-alongs, and some showcases. I'll see you then.